sunshine. Man, it is a beautiful day. And speaking of sunshine, welcome back, y'all. Appreciate you being here. What we're doing today, a little bit more hay work. Something I don't think I've showed you before. Well, I know I ain't showed you because I hardly ever use this piece of equipment. It's handy when you need it, but it ain't worth the money. We got the old John. We're going to try it on a different tractor today. I never have liked it before. I always run it on my Farmall 460, and it don't have enough hydraulic pressure to run it proper, I don't think. I think that may be part of the problem. We're going to run her on the old John Deere 5520 four-wheel drive. It sure don't need this much horsepower, but it's what I got that's handy to unhook, or it was handy to unhook to put on this. It was handy. It was hooked up to the baler, and it's going to be a few hours before I need the baler, and it's pretty easy to hook up. What are we talking about? Well, we're talking about this hay inverter. Right there, what this will do is this will take a windrow and just turn it over and move it about 3 foot off to the side. I'll show you when we get to the field. And you kind of wonder why in the heck we need that. Well, if it wasn't for poor planning, it wouldn't need it at all. What I did, I always rake the day I'm going to bale. Wait till the hay's daggum near dry enough. I rake it up as soon as the dew's off, as soon as it starts drying good, and go back and bale it. And we're in an area, we get a lot of dew here, heavy dews, about like a little rain every night. Anyhow, the grass wet in the mornings. So, anyhow, the humidity never got down low enough to bale yesterday. So today, my windrows are going to be wet on the bottom. So I don't need to spread it all back out, but I do need to turn it over. Everything should be dry on top, but it'll be wet right there on the bottom. I'll show you when we get to the hay field. What I'm dealing with, guys, this hay on top is dry. Pretty well dry enough to bale. Three twists in this part. But what I'm looking at is the hay on the bottom. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and just keep on going. She just tougher than woodpecker lips. Like I say, what's on top's dry, but what's on bottom's wet. 1, 2, 3, and there's a couple in there. So what we'll do is, this hay needs turned over, so that bottom will get on the sun, and that's what that machine's going to do for us. Now you can say, we're making pretty good progress. This is a lot faster than a rake. A rake would have took me, I got to go a lot slower with a rake. I can zip right down these windrows. We ain't sped this up, it's just real time. Over there you can see I did the outside there just a little bit. I did the outside row, and I'll show you as I go. But this throws the windrow about 3 foot, and I'll show you that here in a minute. But we can lift up this, we can lift the pickup up on this, drive straight through that, turn her around, and head her right back down the next windrow, and drop the pickup. You can see there's still some green spots on that hay. And that next windrow over, you can see there's still some green spots in there, so that's what we're trying to do. Now the part I don't like about this windrow inverter, it moves those windrows about 3 foot, and if I keep going right back on myself how I'm doing, I gotta be careful. One of the things I don't like about this windrow inverter, it moves that windrow over about 3 foot. Now if I was raking, I'd use one side of the rake going one way and the other side going the other way, and basically I would justify that whole field one direction. I would throw every windrow, we'll say west, this field. Well, this one here, it only discharges off to my left. So that windrow, I just went down 2 windrows at a time. It's going to throw 2 of them together and then a bigger space. So I got to pay a little bit better attention to how I'm baling here after a while. But any extra time it takes me to turn baling, we're going to make that up in how fast this windrow inverter works. I said I didn't like this windrow inverter, and I didn't on that Farmall 460, but it's only got, I don't remember the gallons a minute, not very many, and I think 1250 psi hydraulic pressure. Well, it didn't run this to suit me. So I'm trying it on this tractor. Man, it's working a lot better. Let me turn you guys around and show you. Now what it's doing is it's just picking that up and hitting that back flap and turning that hay right over. This is what we want it to do. Now we can adjust. There's a hydraulic flow control valve on it back here. Right down here is a hydraulic flow control valve. The fender may be in your way. I can adjust the pickup speed on that to go better with my ground speed, and I could drive. I can drive to one side or the other a little bit too if I need to, and that changes it some too. Watch out for the cows. You can see we just lifted up the windrow. I'm doing on a guide. The cows are out here just having a big time. That bull's mine. I got him laying out. Those 3 heifers are some that I sold him last year. So he's getting a bred. They got another pasture, but they're just out here visiting. That old bull's a sweetheart as far as bulls are concerned. Oh, bounce around. So yeah, so you can, I can shift where I'm driving just a little bit, and that kind of times that, how it's turning that over. But it's doing a pretty good job no matter where I'm at. And you can see how those 2 windrows close together, and then a space, 2 windrows close together. That's just kind of the nature of this beast. It's a small price to pay. First world problems right there, having your windrows too close together and too far apart. Does me good to remember every once in a while that my problem just ain't nothing. I can't remember how long it's been since I've been hot and had no relief in sight, or been hungry and had no relief in sight, or been cold, afraid of freezing to death and dying. I got it pretty good, don't I? Don't hurt to remember stuff like that every once in a while. There's people that's got it a whole lot worse than I do, I guarantee it. But we ain't got it bad at all here, do we? It's a nice day. It's only like 70 degrees out today. You believe that? About 65% humidity, but I think it'll come down. It's got to come down. I can't bail at 65% humidity. Not without putting acid on there. It's just a beautiful day to be alive. Thankful of it. but just a few minutes left on this field. This ain't taking no time at all. And I may have lost the video on a different one. If I did, I'm going to re-talk about it. Hopefully this audio comes out better today. What do you guys think about ignition timing on chainsaws? And it's going to extrapolate to anything else, even if you don't like chainsaws, but you like mechanical stuff. And ignition timing. Now, on this chainsaw, when I had it on dyno before, and I went through ignition timing testing, 10 degrees ignition timing with a long decomp plug and a surface gap spark plug done me the best, right? Well, when I was doing this iron horse pipe testing, dynoing it and everything, I thought, man, because I was able to beat the, get my mind back straight, hey, in here. I was able to beat the bark box style that I'd built with the iron horse style, right? So I thought to myself, man, we're basically as high as we've been on this saw, other than we got a scored cylinder. But I thought, man, I'm gonna put that long decomp plug back in, the surface gap spark plug back in, and advance that timing 10 degrees like I did before, right? Now bear in mind, I had machined the top of that piston and changed shape of that piston because I didn't like the burn pattern I was getting. Didn't like how it looked. And that gained us a little horsepower too. Lowered the compression, but gained us horsepower because we got a better burn, right? So I thought, man, I'm gonna cut a fat hog in the butt, and I'm gonna put the long decomp plug back in it, like I say, do all that stuff, and we're gonna do us a test cut and a dyno run on her and see where we're up to. Well, she fell on her face. We lost a bunch. It hated that 10 degree. It, son of a buck, sounded like Orville Redenbacher was in the kitchen. Did not like her. And why didn't it like it? It liked it before. Why didn't it like it now? Well, we changed the top of that piston. And when we're doing time in advance, what we're trying to do is get the big of that combustion, the biggest part of that combustion, we're trying to get that to hit, we'll say 15 degrees after top dead center. Well, and that's what the timing was doing before, because my burn wasn't that good due to the shape of that piston in relationship to the combustion chamber. So when I changed that piston, it didn't like her a bit because it was already burning faster now. And that's probably where I gained the horsepower. See, even though I changed the top of that piston, essentially it changed where the bulk of that combustion pressure hit. But we'll claim it's 15 degrees. So there's some variables on the ignition timing needed. But now, let's say we're wanting that combustion gas to hit 15 degrees past that top dead center. It's got a nice angle on that rod, right? And we don't change anything else in the combustion chamber to speed up or slow down that burn. We don't want to speed up. We don't mind speeding up and slowing down the burn, but not while we're messing with ignition timing. So how do we combat, or what do we do about that? So there's some calculations there, and it's down to milliseconds between how, and it all has to do with burn rate. How far before top dead center do I have to start that fire before it's burning its best at 15 degrees after top dead center? Well, by that I mean, let's jump one step farther. If I've got a saw that is pulling 8,500 in the cut, and I do work on it, exhaust, transfer intake, exhaust timing, the muffler, let's say it's pulling 10.5 in the cut now. Let's say we picked up 2,000 RPMs. Well, that means there's a difference in time, in milliseconds, hours, whatever you want to call it. There's a difference in time, measurable time, between the same degrees before top dead center and the same degrees after top dead center. We just put 20%, 25% speed on it, close to it. Round numbers going from 85 to 10.5. We put 18, 19% on it. Now, that don't mean we need 18, 19% more timing. What that means is we need to recalculate. We should need some timing though, because if we don't, that thing's moving so much faster at 8,500. So many milliseconds. The crank may only been at 15 degrees, but then we sped it up. We may be at 22 degrees now, right? So we need to retard this timing so that hits again at 15 degrees. Why build a spreadsheet for that? And I think it will extrapolate. And the nice thing I like doing about building spreadsheets, it shows me just how far I don't have to go. I'll show you that spreadsheet here at the end of this.
Well, here's how a spreadsheet's going to work. This is RPMs on an MS250 I did, or a Steel 025. It'll be coming up in videos eventually. Stock, it turned 9,737 RPMs at peak horsepower. After I was done with it, it moved it up about 300 RPMs. How much timing would that need? Well, according to my spreadsheet, theoretically it would need 0.08 degrees more timing to hit that same power kernel of fire at 15 degrees after top dead center. Now, if I change either one of these, that also changes it. And I'm not sure where advanced or what the stock ignition advance is, because I just don't know. But let's say it was only 5 degrees. That changes our needs. So each one of these is, you can change each one of these inputs. If we find out we actually want that to hit at 18 degrees after top dead center, for some reason that changes it. I built these so they could be changed, but I don't know enough to know what they need changed to yet. But let's say we got that up to 11,039. Now we need 3.3 degrees ignition timing on top of what we already had. Kind of the same thing at my current Steel 026. I just widened the lower transfer some. That video's not out yet either, but I'm working here. So the last iteration was at 9,926 for peak RPMs. The wider lowers helped. We're up to 11,104. In theory, it needs 3 degrees advanced timing over it was previously, because I didn't change the muffler. I didn't change the combustion chamber any. So guys, tell me what you think about this.
But I can plug in my numbers now. I can plug in some target numbers. I can plug in my target numbers, my original RPM, meaning my last mod, whatever I wanted to do, and where we're at now, like in the cut RPMs. I'm not talking just squeezing the throttle. I'm talking about in the cut, because that's when the timing's going to matter, is in the cut. Unless you're just wanting something that'll scream to the moon without no chain on it. And if that's what you want, then you'll do it different. I'm not going to say what you want's wrong and what I want's right. I'm just saying they may be different. We're both right. I don't care. Whatever you want to use it for. Use it for good, not evil. But I'm thinking that will be handy to know. And I like putting numbers to stuff because it made me realize how much timing I don't need. Meaning I went 10 degrees on that, saw, and it probably didn't need that factory, because factory had a flat top piston in it, see? When I put the dome piston in there, that just messed up the burn rate something fierce. And I took most of that dome back off. I tapered it different, but I took most of that dome off. And the reason I done that, I could tell I wasn't getting that good of a burn, and I wanted to change that. So yeah, guys, I'll let you look at this here a minute longer. But guys, boy, it's bouncing around like a baby in a fruit jar out here. This old field's rough. This is one I did this spring, and it was kind of wet. I've probably got tracks in it. Guys, tell me what you think about the timing. Tell where I'm going. Tell me where I'm going astray at. I may be wrong. There's a possibility that I'm wrong. Let's face it. I think I'm right, but shucks, if I didn't think I was right, I wouldn't be bumping my guns about it right now, would I? Of course I think I'm right. I thought I was right before. So guys, appreciate it. Thanks for hanging around. I appreciate you guys. Oh, let's see if we can get her stuck in here. So guys, I appreciate you hanging around. I enjoy you guys riding with me here out here on the tractor. I know it gets into talking about hay and one thing and another, but how long can you talk about a windrow inverter? Appreciate it, guys. If I earned her, give her the old hitchhiker. If I didn't, give her the old Julius Caesar. Leave me a little comment. Love a comment. You guys are great. Love talking to you. Love bantering around ideas. Love just stopping in and saying, hey, appreciate it. I really do. And the new guys that ain't had the guts to comment yet, I'm not knocking you out for not having the guts, but I know how it is. You always kind of stick your toes in the water thinking, well, I don't even know if they want me here. Guys, if you ain't ever commented before and you have the capability to comment, I want you here and I want you to comment. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.